So I'm going to show here in this video how to create a standalone theme that is based on the Blank Slate theme. So I have Apache MySQL running, and next is I'm going to open my browser. And keep this one open, pointing to the dashboard. Okay, while that's happening, nope, I don't want to save the password. Next, what I'm going to do is go into my WordPress folder. So that means since I have XAMPP installed, XAMPP in the C drive, XAMPP apps, WordPress, htdocs, WP content, themes, and then create a folder here for my theme. So I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it my theme. And once that's done, I'm going to open brackets, or you can use Dreamweaver, but I just prefer using brackets in this case. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to do is point brackets to my theme folder. So I'm going to click File, Open, Folder, and go to my theme folder. Okay. So basically setting that as my home folder in brackets. Okay. Next, let's see. All right. Well, actually, I'm going to go into themes now in the dashboard. Okay. And install the Blank Slate theme, although I'm not going to activate that. Although you notice down here it says broken themes. So WordPress picked up my theme folder, but because I haven't started anything yet, so that's why this WordPress is reporting this. So just ignore. I'm just going to ignore that for now. I'm going to click Add New. Okay, so these themes are showing up, and I'm going to search for Blank Slate. And there's Blank Slate. I'm going to go ahead, proceed with install. Okay, so now that it's installed, I'm not going to activate it. I'm just installing it because I'm going to need some bits of it to put into my own theme. And its licensing allows it to be used that way. Okay, now just take note that not all themes are meant to be used that way, so that depends on the licensing. And also, some themes are not made to be starter themes. Okay, so what you need are what we call starter themes. So Blank Slate is pretty good as a starter theme. Doesn't have a lot of styling included in it. With that said, if I click on themes now, actually, there you go. So now I'm seeing two themes here, and my theme is still broken. That's fine. So let me switch over to brackets. When you're creating a standalone theme, you need the following. So let's start with, okay, File, New. Okay, so once you've created the new file, let me just zoom in. I'm going to save this as style, singular, of course, .css. This is going to get saved in my theme folder, or in my themes folder. Okay, and just like with creating a child theme, when you're creating a standalone theme, you need a few things in the theme header. So for example, my theme is my theme name, author, so I can put my name. So let's say I put here version. But the one thing that's going to be clear here is that I'm not going to put a template. If we're creating a child theme, I would have put a template here followed by the name of the parent. Now, because this is a standalone theme, or also known as project theme in a few cases, we don't need a template line. Okay. Now I resaved my file. Just pressed Control S while I was talking. Okay. And I switch back to Chrome and refresh my dashboard. Okay, now WordPress is still reporting that my theme is broken. The template is missing. Standalone themes need to have index.php. Child themes need to have a template header and a style.css style sheet. So right now, although I have style.css, my theme isn't necessarily recognized by WordPress as either a standalone or a child theme. So what I'm going to do is create a new file. This is going to be index.php. Hold on, let me save that first. I'm going to call this as index.php. So for now, I'm going to put this code up here, or in this file. Oops. Meta charset UTF-8. So this is just the standard HTML5 code. Let's see. My WordPress powered site. Okay, and that's pretty much that. Okay, now with that established, I've just resaved my file, and if I now refresh the dashboard, so now WordPress is reporting that it can see my theme. Okay, there's not much details going on here, but the fact that I'm seeing a box for my theme, that means I've done everything, pretty much set up the theme properly enough for WordPress to recognize it. However, realistically, this, of course, is not enough. It's not enough that you have a style.css with the theme header. Of course, you're going to need some CSS rules here. It's not enough that you have an index.php with this code. Practically and realistically, this is not what we're going to have in index.php, as you will see later in the video. So, let's see. Oops. Right, so we're going to create another file. So I've just pressed Control N. I'm using Windows. Okay. Of course, if you're using Mac, you press Command N. Right, and this will be saved as functions with an s.php. And I'm putting the PHP markers as is standard when you're creating a PHP file, like a library file like this one. Okay, so it's not a web page. It's gonna this file is not a web page. It's just gonna contain a series of functions, like the name states. Okay. All right, so we got index functions. Now, the one thing I also use when I'm creating a theme is this website. It's called generatewp.com. Okay, so in fact, what I encourage that you do is create. I don't want notifications. Is to create an account here. Okay. Now, whether you create an account or not, what you need to do is go into the Tools and Generators section. Okay, nope, I don't want to chat with anyone. Okay. To help us produce the code. So what I'm gonna do here is click on Design. Okay, so remember, this is from the home page or the index page of generatewp.com. So as soon as you get here, if you have an account, log in. If you don't have an account, click Join Now. Just to fast forward with things, I'm going straight to Tools and Generators. I've just clicked on Design, and I'm gonna click. Actually, hold on. Where is that? Yeah, actually it's Core, not Design. Click Core and click on Register WordPress Styles. Okay. Now that's gonna bring you to the Register WordPress Styles generator. Okay. What I'm also gonna do is create another tab here. And I'm gonna go to fonts.google.com. So I want to use Google Fonts in my WordPress site. Okay, so let's see. I'm shopping for sans serif fonts. So I just uncheck these, and let me see. Okay, I think I'm gonna use the Railway font for my non-heading texts. In other words, regular text. So I've clicked the plus sign to add it to my list. As you can see here, this black box. And I'm gonna go and look for a font that's good for headings. So perhaps I'm gonna use this. Yeah, that's a pretty good candidate right here. It's the Anton font. Let me see if there's anything else that might be a little bit better. Yeah, that's too wide. So I think let me go back to the Anton font. So I'm gonna go ahead add this and expand this because what I need here is the URL. Sorry, the URL that Google puts in this code. Now, normally, if we're not doing WordPress, I would need this entire link tag, but because we're using WordPress, I'm just gonna need this address. Okay, so HTTP fonts, and what I suggest that you do is you keep adding the fonts that you need or that you think you need before you go in here and copy the URL. Okay, so I'm gonna copy that, switch over to brackets. Oops, not brackets. I'm sorry. The generatewp.com website. Okay, and I'm gonna fill out these forms one at a time. So this pretty much just gives you an overview as to what this generator does. So I'm gonna do is click on General. So it's asking me what do I want to call this function. Okay, so it says custom styles. I think I'm just gonna keep that name. The hook WPNQ scripts. Okay, that's perfect. This I want my function to be executed when when WordPress generates what to put in the head section later. So I'm gonna keep that hook. Next is the style 1. So I'm gonna put here Google dash fonts. Okay, not that you have to put that name. Oh, basically you just need to come up with the nickname for the style sheet. Styles URL, I'm gonna paste the URL that I copied from Google. No dependencies, style sheet version. There is no version. So, yep, I'm just gonna keep that blank. Media default all. So, do register style no, and Q style. Um, well, let's put yes. Okay. Next, I'm gonna go to style 2. Okay, I'm gonna put here theme. Yeah, theme style sheet. Okay, styles URL, no, I don't have the URL yet. I'm gonna have to code that later. Styles dependencies. So in other words, which style sheet this style sheet is dependent on. So this style sheet is dependent on the Google Fonts style sheet. So what I'm gonna do here in style 2 is put Google-fonts so that the first style sheet is loaded or processed first before this one. Styles version, we can put here version 1.0.0. Media, the register style, Q style, yes. Okay, and those are the only 2 style sheets I need, at least for now. I'm going to click update code. Okay, so looking at the code, all right, so this is exactly what I want. Now, actually, what I would suggest that you do is go to a search engine and perhaps use the search box to search for normalize.css. Okay, and that should bring you to the results page. Basically, normalize.css is a set of CSS rules to make tags, especially HTML5 tags, behave more consistently, as it says there. Okay, so I'm going to click this link that goes to this address, nicholas.github.io/normalize.css. In fact, web designers use this, not just people who design for WordPress, but pretty much a lot of web designers use this. So I'm going to click that. When you click this button, it might, there you go, it might give you the code. So what I'm going to do, if that's showing up, what I suggest that you do is instead of clicking the button, right-click it, save link as, or at least this is how Chrome is wording it. So if you're using a different browser, you might see a different verbiage here. So save link as, and I'm going to put that into my theme. Actually, there you go. There's the theme folder. So I'm putting it in my theme folder so you can tell by the address or the path up here. Okay. There you have it. And I'm gonna go back to my register, my generatewp.com and enter as style 3. Okay, that normalize that CSS. So I'm gonna do here is as handle name normalize styles URL. No, I'm not gonna put that because it's I'm gonna refer to my local file. Styles dependencies none. Styles version. I guess we can put the version here, which is 7.00. So, oops, not there. Styles version 7.0.0. Media all. The register style no. Enqueue style yes. All right, so I'm gonna click update code. Okay. So now I need to review my theme style sheet because I need to make sure that the normalized style sheet is included here. Okay, in fact, what I would also suggest that you do is reorder these instead of the normalized style sheet coming last, to put that perhaps before Google Fonts or after it. Anyway, just before the theme style sheet. Not that that matters so much, but just in terms of organizing your code, it might be readable that way. I mean, it's gonna be readable that way, not might. All right, so let me go back to style 2 and add the nickname that I gave to the normalized style sheet in my dependency. So I'm gonna Google Fonts, comma, normalize, so that in other words, telling the WordPress engine to make sure that these two are loaded first prior to my style sheet, my themes style sheet. Okay, so let me click update code. All right, so now that that's laid out, I can now go ahead, select all of that, copy, and then paste that into brackets to my page in brackets, to my file rather, functions.php in brackets. Okay, let me just adjust the width of this so you can see most of it. Well, if I zoom out, if I make the font smaller, this is how they look like in one line, or rather if they're not broken in lines. Like I said, you can move this before these lines, so perhaps right here where line 8 is. I mean, you can do that just to make sure that this comes last. In other words, especially that your style sheet depends on these two style sheets, the Google Fonts and the normalize. Uh, for some people, when they read that, that might make more sense, makes it easier for them to understand your code. But actually, right now, it doesn't matter. So, just for the sake of doing it, I'll just cut. Okay, and oops, let's practically paste right here. So I just reordered them. That's all I'm doing. And okay, save. All right, so the next issue is this. Okay, right here is where the path or the URL to the normalized CSS file should go. So to set that, first of all, let me get rid of that empty string, and instead I'm going to put here get style sheet directory URI dot. Okay, and in there you're going to put slash normalize .css. Okay, so in other words, earlier it looked like this. So you're replacing that empty string with, yeah, just basically that. Now we're going to do the same over here for the theme style sheet because our theme style sheet needs to be coded this way as well. So what I'm going to do, actually, is just going to copy that. Remember, there are 4 things here. Normalize, this bit of code, false, and 7.00. So I'm going to copy that. Oops, include that single quote there. Copy, and I'm going to paste over this. Control V. But instead of normalize, this is style.css. Okay, I don't mind that going to the next line. That's okay. In fact, it's not going to the next line. It's just that brackets is word wrapping my code. So don't worry about it. I just noticed that there's a space here. That's not good. That's gonna hurt that. So let me get rid of the space. I don't know if you're getting the space here if you're following my video. So, but I'm gonna get rid of that. There's no space before the word normalize. So this is just word, no space around it. That's good. Okay, save. If I were to zoom out, that's pretty much how things look. But I don't want to do that because this is gonna be hard to see in the video. So let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, now that that's established, let me go back to index.php. Okay, and pretty much start assembling this. Now, in here, in fact, what we're going to do also is set the title dynamically. So in other words, we're not going to hard code the title of the page. So we're going to get rid of the title, and we're just going to retain the meta tag there in the head section. But in place of all of those, we're going to put here a call to WP head. Okay, by doing that, we're asking WordPress to put anything that needs to go in the head section according to how it's built, how it's configured, for WordPress to put them all here. Okay. All right, so let me save that. Let me do a save all and test it in a browser. I think I want to use Firefox. So normally I use a different browser. So I have Chrome and I have the dashboard opened here. And what I'm going to do is activate my theme. So don't forget to do this. Okay. So now that it's activated, let me open my website in another browser so that you don't end up getting or suffering from caching issues. Okay. Sometimes when you make changes to your theme using the same browser as where you logged in on the dashboard, you might not get the changes happening. That's because of the browser cache. So what I do is open the dashboard in one browser and test the WordPress site in another. All right, that's why I have Firefox open, localhost/WordPress. Okay, now you might say, well, it's empty. Well, it's empty because my theme right now only contains index.php, which, as you can see, is empty. But what I want to do is investigate to see if I'm actually getting the right elements in the head section. So let me go back to Firefox, right-click, page source, and from the looks of it, this is my meta tag. If I zoom in, matter of fact, here's my meta tag, and pretty much everything that follows is courtesy of the WP head. So these are here because I put the WP head after the meta tag. Now, so what I'm looking for also are these three link tags, these style sheets. So I want to make sure the Google font is here, the normalized CSS is here, and my style sheet is here. Okay. In fact, if I were to click that, that should show me my style sheet. So that means I'm linking to the file correctly. If I click normalize, it should show me the contents rather of normalize.css. And the Google font, that should give us the code by Google. So these three style sheets are working, and that's all I'm interested in. Okay. Now notice that the title tag is missing. Well, not only because we took it out, but it's not the dynamic title tag, or if you will, it's not enabled yet. So we're gonna enable that using the generate WP in a minute. But first, let's close that. In fact, let me switch over to the generate WP. So you can now close Google Fonts. But if you think you're gonna need more fonts, then you can just keep this open. But in my case, I don't. I'm sure that I won't need any more. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to close normalize.css. Now I'm back here, generatewp.com. Then click on generators. Okay, I'll just close this little tab here. Okay, what are we here for? We are here to enable theme support. So when you click on generators, the link at the top called generators, and you go to click all. Okay. One of the generators here should be called theme support generator. Okay. In fact, we're going to need the menu generator later on, but let's go into theme support generator first. Okay. So this will allow us to enable certain features in the theme, in our theme. So when I click general, okay, the function name, that's fine. Child themes, you want to set this to yes if you're planning if you're planning to create a child theme out of your own standalone theme. Content with, so I've just left this to no. In fact, what I'm gonna do is go straight to formats. Okay. Now this will be great if you want to support these post formats. Okay, these will show up in your whenever you create a post. So if your theme is gonna take advantage of these, you want to turn that on. So for now, I'm gonna keep them off because I'm not planning to use any of these formats. I'm gonna click on title tag because I want to enable a title tag support. In other words, when the WP head is called, I want the title tag to be added to the code automatically, but also be able to set the title tag's contents dynamically. So, so basically all I did in this theme support generator is went into the title tag, set that to yes, click update code, and there you go. So now we have this snippet. So I'm gonna just copy all of that. Copy, go to brackets, into functions, and basically towards the end, I'm gonna paste that code that I copied. All right. Now with that established, save my file, switch to Firefox, refresh this. Okay, you might say, well, nothing happened. Well, let's find out. Let's right-click, view page source. There you go. The title is now added by the WP head function. Let me show you. This function call that added the link tags to our style sheets is now also adding the title tag. And if you are wondering, well, what's the significance of that? Well, as you can see, it's putting the title given the blog title, the blog name, and the site tagline. So in other words, we can go into the dashboard, into settings, and change these. We don't have to do it via code. That can be done using the dashboard. Okay. All right, next, let's go back to the generator. Once again, we click generators at the top. Let's click on menu generator. Okay. So this will enable us to create custom menus. And because if you look right now on the dashboard, let me switch over to the dashboard. Let me refresh this. Okay, so currently there is no way for us to create a custom menu. There's no menu option here. Okay, so the options found in the dashboard are also based on your functions.php. Okay, so the fact that it's not here, we have to enable that. So let's go back to the generator. Okay, right, so general, I think everything here is fine as they are. Menu 1, what's the name of the menu? We're just going to create one menu. We're going to have one menu in our theme. Now, basically, we need to identify that menu, give it a nickname. So let's say site-navigation. And description will be website navigation. Okay, so you can type whatever description you want here. And then that's it. I'm going to click update code. Okay, so this is why you should consider logging in. All right, so I'm going to close that. And I'm going to copy that snippet of code all the way to the end. Then copy, go into brackets, and pretty much insert that code just before this functions.php file ends. There you go. So just pasted it. Don't forget to include that. I mean, we have that, and because that's closing this, line 1, which is the PHP delimiter, is closed over here at the very end. Okay, so we have one pair. All right, save. Next, oops, let's refresh this. Okay, nothing will change visually, but if we go to the dashboard, refresh the dashboard, now we have the menus showing up, and that will then allow us to create a custom menu, which will be great. Okay, and I'm gonna discuss that in the next video along with how to design this theme now that we have the basic elements in place. We have the style sheets registered, we have the title tag dynamically set, and we have an ability to create a custom menu. So the next video, I'm going to discuss how to produce the layout and then how to break this into standard templates.